Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. Again, I will introduce myself as JDavis, the host of Radio Entrepreneurs and chairman and founder of Mage LLC, management consulting firm in the Boston area. And I've said this a few times. I'm going to keep saying it during these times of great dramatic change, almost an entrepreneurship world of constant chaos. Every week, I love talking to Mark Furman, director and shareholder at Tarlow, Hart Rodgers, for our segment, Entrepreneurship and the Law. Welcome back, Mark.
Hi, Jeffrey. Great to be with you.
Thank you, Mark. I agree. What's up today?
Well, the evolution of the workplace as a result of the pandemic continues. Most recently, we are seeing companies decide that they want people back in the office. Maybe not 5 days a week, but some kind of hybrid model, whether it's 2 days a week or 3 days a week. Simultaneously, we have changes in the mask wearing requirements. And as they continue to be eliminated, really around the country, and including in the Boston area where masks are now optional in public places and increasingly in offices as well. So that raises issues. Each of these things raise issues for employees and employers, because employers obviously have an interest in keeping their productive workforce and accommodating their needs. And that's can be critically important to the business. But there's also concerns out there around safety for unvaccinated people, and safety for people who which include infants, people who have little children, people who live with folks with compromised immune systems, and there are employees with compromised immune systems. So it's a tough balancing act. And I think, as we've seen, this is a matter of fierce differences of opinion among employers, among employees, among citizens. And how do we deal with these things? These are hard choices. For some people, COVID has meant the ability to not commute, and some people have loved that aspect. As for me, I've had out-of-state depositions for which I would have traveled out of state 3 times so far this year, but the depositions were conducted by Zoom. So instead, I grabbed a cup of coffee in the kitchen and turned on my computer and spent the day in depositions without the hassle of flying 3 hours and staying in a hotel room and then flying back. And that's me and what I do. And now I have this balance where some court proceedings are in person and others are by Zoom. And I hope there continues to be a hybrid, because not everything requires a court appearance, but there's positives, things you miss out when you don't go to court, in terms of the ability to communicate with the opposing lawyer, develop relationships. It is different remotely, there's no question. How do you onboard employees? How do you maintain the corporate culture, a team culture, when everybody's working in a different place? And then you have what I think will be on the part of some employers, dramatic shifts in how they structure their business, because if you are you going to have some hybrid employees? Are you going to have some remote employees who solely work off-site? How do you maintain that team culture that's important to any organization? On the other hand, imagine the savings in real estate costs if people can work from home. So what does the office of, I won't say the distant future look like, but what does the office world look like in, say, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever that moment is that a company's existing lease is up? How do they plan for the future? What makes the most business sense? It's a very exciting time to reimagine what the workplace is like, but we're walking in uncharted waters, Jeffrey, where we really are trying all to figure it out, whether you're a shareholder in a law firm or management consulting, advising businesses, or an accounting firm. It's the brave new world.
Well, you come from a very traditional industry, not necessarily historically run by business people, run by attorneys. And I remember, because I personalized it, about 2.5 to 3 years ago, I had a meeting with a managing partner of a national law firm. And I said to him, I think you need to get rid of 65% of your overhead and invest all of your money in recruiting, in technology, and building culture. And he said, yes, we have a plan to eliminate 20% of our physical overhead. And I remember running into a partner in the midst of COVID, and he went, oh, you were right. It's a different world. And I think leaders are being challenged to rethink the models that they came into business with about how do you build an organization? How do you keep people aligned? People like you and I, I'll just speak for the two of us. There were parts about COVID that we enjoyed in terms of having a little bit more control over our lives and with work. And, going back to sitting in my car every day and going all over town is not necessarily what I want to do, and have face-to-face meetings. I actually think that I'm able to do more work every day because of the efficiencies of technology. So, not everybody's going to want to just run back into an office. And I think employers need to understand that, because recruiting good people, it's hard to do. It's all about finding the right people and keeping them.
And I think this can be an opportunity for employers to get talent, but talent that wants some flexibility in their life and a little more work-life balance that one can achieve if they're not required to make the trek into the central business district 5 days a week. For me, before COVID, it meant 7.5, say, on average, 7.5 hours a week, just commuting. There were times in bad weather it was worse than that. But, with COVID, that has not been an issue, and it's freed up time, not only for, I think, productive work, but work-life balance. And one of the things I've noticed in my organization is increased productivity during COVID. Something at the start of COVID, we thought the sky was falling, the business world was ending. And as it turned out, folks were more productive. Maybe at the beginning that was in part because there was a fear that the sky was falling, but it's turned out not to be the case. And doing these, giant business transactions, large litigation, we've been able to do it effectively. Yes, an old dog needs to learn a few new technology tricks, but it's doable. And I have to say, it's been overall enjoyable. I certainly miss, some of the informal encounters with colleagues and, talking about having more opportunities just to touch base on personal things and how people are doing. We've made more of an effort to have Zoom events. We've just entertainment for get-togethers, wine tastings, just different types of events to try to keep people talking to each other. And it's not so much the people that you work with every day, because I talk to those people every day. It's the people in other practice groups.
Do you ever have you had any feedback from judges who used to always, I guess, have conferences with attorneys, had a lot of contact with people day to day, how they feel about how this whole process has worked?
Well, I had a conversation with a judge who insists on in-person. And the judge explained that a lot of business gets done when lawyers are in the same room as each other. They resolve conflict over certain issues to avoid having a third party decide, and the decision may be to everybody's liking or everybody's dislike. So they want people together in that particular courthouse. It's uncrowded. There's plexiglass protection between everybody. I have my area and I have plexiglass on my left and right and in front of me. And the opposing lawyer has the same, and the clerk has the same, and the judge has the same. So, there is something lost there. I don't want to minimize it. But on the other hand, the cost to the client of making that trek to this courthouse is much greater than the cost of turning on my computer. And litigation is already very, very expensive. And so I think there are some things that, should be done remotely to save the client's money, frankly. So I think that needs to be a consideration too.
Well, litigation is very expensive, and I think more of my clients should have taken classes on the cost of litigation before they, as part of going into business, because I don't think clients really understand what they're getting themselves into when they think that they're going to have a fight, and that fights are not things that get done quickly or easily when you're a white collar person. But Mark, I really appreciate your insights with this and your weekly insights into entrepreneurship and the law. If someone was looking for you and wanted more feedback from you at Tarlow, Hart Rodgers, how would they find you?
Either give me a call at 617-218-2025 or send me an email, mfurman, Furman, at tbhr-law.com.
Thank you very much. And remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs, and we'll see Mark Furman again next week on Entrepreneurship and the Law.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Turn it off, guys.